Welcome to Topics with Mobangem. Today I got another guest here. Great brother, you know what I'm saying? He definitely has been doing the music for years. He's been putting a lot of people out, working with people, work with some serious, powerful people in the industry. You know, I know him for many years myself. We went to high school together, and, you know, and I'm very proud of him. It's like he stepped his game up tremendously, and he's here to talk about it. Everybody, I'd like you to meet Sonny Warren.
Mobangem. It's a pleasure to be on your show, by the way, man. So it's been so long since, like he said, in terms of high school and so forth. We go back since Mount Vernon High School. My grandfather was one of the founders within Mount Vernon High School at the time.
Pop
this
Warren.
Is, you know, Pop Warren, and then we talking Al B. Shaw. We talking about CL Smooth. We talking about Pete Rock. We talking about Heavy D and the Boys. And just in terms of music in itself, of growing within the nature of where we were and where we are now. I actually related towards Mo. He gave me a distinctive image towards how, in terms of where we're going with this, for this radio show tonight, actually TV show. I'm very proud to be here. Mo's been out for years. I remember him as Slice as being one of the top rappers back in the time when I was growing up, and I actually followed towards his style in terms of going out from. I mean, we could go back. I mean, Grand Poobah was one of the peoples that. And Grand Poobah actually himself could actually say, he said Sonny was one of the founders in terms of with Russell Simmons and so forth, of Andre Harrell. You know, I used to roadie with all the top MCs back in the day, and I had a time of it doing it. You know, it was a growth period in terms of just learning a process of where hip hop was, and the time of when it was a struggle, and trying to get in and do the right thing by just not only just your fellow artists, but make sure that they're appropriate towards the game that where it was. But I'm gonna let Mo take it from here.
Absolutely. You know, a lot of people, they talk about what they do, they don't show what they do, or sometimes they get involved in this game, they want handouts. You know, these are some people like him, and a lot of people that we used to roll with years ago. Some of the forefathers of this game that actually created this game, you know, actually put it on the map as well. Some people you don't see, they be behind the scenes and so forth, but they play big parts in this game, man. A lot of them known artists you see, people like them that actually made it possible for them to actually be where they're at today.
Absolutely.
We're looking at brothers like this right here. He's been doing this for so long, and like I said, tell him who he used to work for, matter of fact.
Okay. Well, Russell I was with for mighty long, and it's so funny. I was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, which was Andre Harrell for Uptown Records. At the time I was rolling with him. Roscoe Blake, who should have been actually down right now, which I got much of my love, but he's all the way in Long Island, which should have been here, and would have came down with all his mic.
We'll get him again.
Right, we'll get him down
another
again.
show for him.
Right. He brought me for, we did actually the Black Entertainment for Studio 54.
Oh, okay, that's real.
Which Wendy Williams and Ace, the DJ, performed at that time. All right,
I remember them. I remember Ace. Yeah.
All right, yeah. And in all aspects, what was beautiful is that we brought Tupac, the last Jack the Rapper in Atlanta. We brought Tupac, Alcoholics. I had an intro, which was Kenny, God rest his soul. Peace to you and your family, Kenny. Kenny was the most beautiful guy that can be, and he died. Kenny from Intro.
Okay.
Right. Kenny from Intro. Right. We had Kenny from Intro. We had Laws of the Underground.
I like them.
Which I love them.
I remember them too.
Mr. Funky Man, they know what I'm saying. Right. Those are my peoples. We brought all them down to Atlanta, did a fantastic performance for the last Jack the Rapper. That was in 1993, Mo. That was a couple years after me and you know, in terms of when we got into the serious game. It was a beautiful thing, man, in terms of music, hip hop. I remember the Younger Brothers. I remember Queen Latifah. I remember Q-Tip and Fife.
Fife Dog. Real hip hop.
This is some real hip hop heads when I was in the mainstream of when they were. But my top people who I was with at the time for Russell at that time, when we was just running around, and they had us doing all the roadie and just and every show throughout the states. And it wasn't, the thing about it now is that I know a lot of people feel money wasn't an aspect. It was a point of getting on. And I just want to make that, I want to make that a fishing point, because to a certain degree now, we all know we want to be rich and be in the next level.
Do you realize that back
Right.
when I was doing my thing, we talking about when I first started 70, well, I started 76, but I started getting major 77, 78, 79.
Right.
Was no money in this.
Was no money involved.
I was out before the first record deal with Sugar Hill Gang when it first came out.
Right.
I was doing my thing already. We was getting paid for doing parties, but
Right.
wasn't no. This is a empire now. It's like hip hop is an empire. You talking about billions of dollars. Man. Just passed around, man. Cats is getting deals for millions of dollars. Man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
They don't went from hip hop to reality shows.
Absolutely.
And I'm not taking anything from anybody's game, because I think in terms of progress, in terms of the hip hop nation, in terms of learning of where we've been and where we're at, we came a long way. There's still a lot of more progress to go in terms of following the right path. The whole thing is in terms of the youth, in terms of is educating on what it is, because you can right now, in terms of where the industry was and where the industry's at, is that you cannot get a record deal so easily how we walked in the door and got a deal.
That's about, and we talked about that like on my last show, how back in the days, if you had a hot demo, they might take a chance and sign, and they do all the work. Now they don't want to do the work.
They don't know.
What you got to do is you got to act like you a label yourself, promote all your stuff, get your views up here. You know what I'm saying? Then
they looking for 1 million views or better on your all the social media in terms of basically.
If you got 500,000, but if you got a great following behind you, that might work. But if you ain't got, but if you got at least have maybe, like you said, 1 million and better. Now if you got like about 5-6 million views, don't worry, they'll come find you.
Of course they will. Yeah. Of course they will. If you're in the process, this is what I'm trying to tell the young youth. If you're good at what you do, if you're astounded in terms of you believe in yourself, in terms of your music and taking it to the next level,
absolutely.
What you have to do in terms of it's always going to be a hustle. You have people selling from Master P, from selling CDs out the trunk, and he wasn't the first out the truck. We're just trying to say, in terms of the mainstream of where it was and where it is now, is that you have the assets to do what you need to do.
Absolutely.
To get it done is on you.
You can send it worldwide, get anything you want to do, because actually all it does is social media. All you do is just hit some keys, boom, 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 press it. It's in Europe. It's here. Back then, like you said, you had to travel, you had to tour over there, you had to make a name of. I mean, yes, still. You should still do these things like travel, do the tour stuff, because even though you may send your music over the media, social media, whatever, but me as something though, me as a label, if I want to know, where did you perform? Who knows? What clubs have you had? Have you any concerts? Have you any tours? I don't want to just see videos of you with your boys in the backyard or even in the hood.
They're not even doing that no more.
Right.
Right.
You go to a label, they want to see where could you perform at? What have you done?
Your press kit in terms of establishing yourself in terms of an artist or being out there within the mainstream of even getting a chance. The recognition is followed in terms of a record label even calling you is of how many hits that you actually have.
Absolutely.
Who do you know within the business?
Absolutely.
And your resume should pay for itself, where it gave them a limelight to be able to even give you a chance to even get towards that door. You have to show and prove towards yourself, towards a label, to be able to pick it up. What I'm trying to tell the young kids, don't be scared of that it's so much pressure in terms of that you can't get in. What we have to do in terms of black people, let me tell you right also, we have to look more towards the Lord. There's a lot of gospel rap.
My son's doing this thing too. Drago, my son Drago Williams, he's out in El Paso, Texas. He's doing this thing with the gospel rap. He's actually a gospel rapper. And he does shows and concerts out there. He's doing this thing, man. You know what I'm saying?
Preaching. What I'm trying to say now, and like I said, I'm God blessed in the sense. You see my shirt. My shirt says blessed. The reason why I'm not saying listen. I come from the real era of hip hop, from when it was BDP, when Scott LaRock was out there. Scott LaRock with BDP.
That's how
that was my peoples. You know what I'm saying? And I can go further. You know, Raheem from Grandmaster Fast and the Furious Spot. It's your peoples as well as mine. We go back towards real hip hop era where it was profound. I remember when graffiti was a source of communication, of putting your tag on something.
Do you remember Case?
Of course.
One on case.
Of course.
Morehouse Projects. Rest in peace. That
Rest
was
in
my
peace.
peoples.
Of course.
That was my people. I used to run them back in the days. And
Right.
then you had Blade, the original Blade, not
Right.
DJ Blade, who was my man
Blade.
too. Blade from
Mount Vernon.
No, not that's
Which
DJ
one?
Blade.
That's DJ Blade.
Come on, Blade from the Bronx used to write the tag.
Oh, yeah, Blade from the
He
Bronx.
all on 108th Street.
Got you.
That
Got
was
you.
Blade.
That was Blade.
Yeah. He had these real graffiti artists, and that graffiti was a real part of hip hop back then. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and you don't hear nothing. The thing about it is that you don't really hear nothing about that. But our source of communication, like how the youth now is using text and social media, our point that we didn't have none of that. We used. You had the rhyme, or either you had the breakdance, or you had your sense of communication was also graffiti tagging around to let the next person know on what group that you were with.
Exactly.
Do you remember that, Slice?
Exactly.
Right.
I remember that.
Right.
And I also remember that you're saying if you wanted to be an artist back then, you had to grind twice as hard as these artists grind now. A lot of them still do shows, don't get me wrong. That's what we was made of. We was made of, if you didn't do a show, nobody knew you.
Nobody knew you.
You didn't have the access like you could just go on YouTube and go on this joint, Reverb Nation, Spotify, play your music out there and everybody can hear you. You got some people that's doing that right now. Actually, I'll be honest with you, never did a show.
Never did a show in their life.
Don't even know how to perform.
No.
But this is what the media does.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's sad because take nothing from you, that doesn't make you a real artist.
No.
It makes you a lazy artist because the computer has made a lot of people lazy. I feel use it to your advantage to promote your music, but make sure you do the legwork, go out there and do them shows. My
thing is, and I agree with you 100%, Slice. My thing in terms of, and now it went from Slice to Mobangem, and I have to precise that because I know this brother from being Slice, but he's Mobangem right now. But going back in terms of what you differentiate right now is basically we lost a lot of our communication gap. I'm not saying that social media is bad. I think it's the most probable thing in terms of getting yourself out there and being heard.
Absolutely.
What I'm trying to say is that when you lose your factors in terms of being communicative and expressive towards every situation, that's also a point in life that you still have to have for yourself.
It's like math. It's like math. Now everything's on a calculator now. Back in the days we had to do it hands-on when we was kids, right? Guess what? A lot of these kids, I'm not saying nothing, taking nothing from them, but a lot of these kids, they grade a computer, but they can't chew bubblegum and walk straight. You know why? Because they just stuck on.
They're looking on. If they don't have the next text to send out, or the next in terms of getting on. My thing is that being communicative and letting the next person know is being expressive, and still letting them know that you have a sense of value, that you were education from your parents to school or whatever the case may be. Just be able to talk and be an individual that still be able to relate, because you know what the fact is. I'm gonna bring it to you right off source. I have right now what's called On Point Entertainment, which I told you about. Mobangem. All right. On Point Entertainment right now, and I'm not taking anything from the next label of what they're doing. We're giving in terms of each artist on something that they can't give back or understand the music industry without being raped in this industry. You already know the game. And I'm not saying that you will, because sometimes you can have the right business partner that can walk you through, or the right alternative that's there in progress if you're worthy of that. But think of the individuals that don't have that.
Education means a whole lot, because when you step in something, you better know what you step into. And this game is like anything else, man. You could be lit on fire. You can mess around, man, get a contract, man, thinking you getting some money. The chump change you get off that contract can't even pay for your budget to go back in the studio and finish that music. The bottom line is that we all know. You go get a BMW and a repo man come repossess your car because you can't afford it. The bottom line is that you can take on a contract that if you're not distributing the amount of music that they actually giving you something to write for, in terms of back when we grew up, it was points. They went from the point system now to it's an individual type act where attorney in terms of, and here's my attorney right now to give me a little insight. Is this Mr. Peter Span?
Yes, it is.
Yes, indeed, sir. So glad that you joined us. Right. Say what's up to Mobangem.
Mobangem. How you doing?
All right,
right. And see, that was perfect timing.
Oh yes.
And just to know that your radio studio put a minute, Peter. We was establishing towards you being an entertainment lawyer in the business and understanding the factors of where young youth is trying to get in. We was actually given the socialite part of it, of social media, of where they're at in terms of the communication. We understand that social media can branch out and put you in the aspect of maybe selling more records and give them the right points of being where they at and showing an individual of that person. What we try to state in terms of the stature of old hip-hop to new hip-hop is that we had more of a communication. If you did not know how to talk, or if at the time you had to have somebody present to do that for you. Now in terms of right now being that you're an entertainment lawyer and walking in the door and seeing an individual that needs help and relating and polish himself in terms of being an artist, how would you profound this in terms of what's their livelihood in terms of helping themselves if they don't know, in terms of if the communication gap's not there? Because all texting and so forth, that's a beautiful thing. And social media for in terms of getting their music. Shouldn't they still be more educated in terms of the music found so they don't get raped in the business? That's what I'm trying to give them.
Yeah, they definitely got to be more educated. You definitely got to understand the business. There's so many books out there that you can read. But definitely, what we do with On Point Entertainment Consultants, we would definitely work with a young artist or even an established veteran artist and help them as it relates to their contract work, help them as it relates to what audience they want to reach, what kind of, even all the way down to how they want to dress, because all that's important. And social media is so important. It's changed the game, because a lot of these artists now, especially the labels, they're looking to see if you have a following before they even want to sign you.
Before they want to sign you.
Are people following you? Are people even into your music?
Right.
But they want stars. They don't make stars anymore. They want a star.
Absolutely.
That's already, they want somebody, and Peter, not to cut you, but in terms of what you just stated right now, let's just, in terms of our public, they're looking for somebody that's more or less that has established themselves where you at common ground for us to pick you up in terms of bringing you into our label and for us to press you where it's at. It's like saying to a certain degree, you're doing all of the work, but what the label's doing is giving you a foreface, and that we will give you the promotional type aspect of something that may not be there if you can afford. This is what we have to point out towards the direction. Now what On Point Entertainment, and that's Peter Span, by the way, my entertainment attorney, which is my partner in crime, what we're trying to establish towards these groups is give them a profound label type establishment where they can look at and take a look at what they're doing, where they're at in terms of their acts. If we can point them in the right direction or give them the right keys to manufacturing their stuff in terms of their product, of what where they're going, where they've been. And the first and foremost is that we all know a press kit has to be to the T before you can get into a label where they think that you're on point. Your look, your in terms of in terms of the people, in terms of what you have, how many hits that you have on all your social media sites. There's so many things to think about where they get sometime a little bit overwhelmed. And mind you, as a new artist starting, they normally don't have the funds to actually do this.
Absolutely.
They don't. We definitely work with artists. You're not going to beat our fees and what you're getting with On Point Entertainment as far as getting somebody like Sonny, who's been a record executive, myself, entertainment lawyer, to help you, get your career off the ground or even revive your career. You've been out there for a little while.
Right.
And so what we try to do is, we consult in a wide range of ways, try to help our clients get the best deals and the maximum exposure. Because that's what it's all about. You want your music to get out there, and you want your art to become your primary source of income at some point. And so we look to negotiate the best deals and put our clients in the best position to reap the rewards of following their dreams. And that's what it's all about.
That's it. That's it. And Mobangem, man, is Peter. Like I said, I ran to him. I went up to Mount Vernon because I went to high school with this guy. And the reason why I told him that, I said I wanted to introduce you towards and for what he has. The radio, the TV show itself, this is a profound business. I'm inside. I wish you'd have been able to, because I know that you're all the way down in Baltimore, and I told him that you're willing to actually come up one day to actually be in New York at a later date, and which is fine. We're going to bring you on a TV show.
Yeah, I need you to show.
We need you here with us, because I want them to see exactly what you can actually give towards. Peter has opened my eyes towards the entertainment industry, because he is seen from the past to the present to how to go about, and then he can write the paperwork. And not only, just to give you a little bit more insight, Mo, what I like about what Peter's doing right now with my type of organization, and this is ours. We're trying to actually distinguish the ones that has present problems in terms of, let's just say, somebody that had a lawsuit of the case in terms of with a record label that they didn't give them, and that they wrote them off, and that they were sitting on the shelf, or whatever the case might have been. You can actually come back to us right now. We can look over your paperwork, see what's in terms of your value, and then distinguish of where you're at in terms of helping you. If there's something that we can actually get you that you would actually do a little bit more towards with that label or social for. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to attack every label that did, because I want to work with the label. I just want to give my present mind towards a person that's been that's been treated unfairly within their regime of their contract.
That's right.
Understand the situation. I'm not saying the labels did what, because they might have signed something that they wasn't supposed to, because they didn't have the appropriate person being there. Peter's the person to look over that and say, let me oversee this and make sure that you're
supposed to do. You're supposed to go to your attorney.
Right.
You can't play attorney in
you
this game.
Cannot walk in the game and just sign something and think, because then
sign your life away.
You're liable for yourself, and you know what?
Absolutely.
You may owe the next label. I'm being real with the person.
I don't want to say no names, but there's a couple of artists I know, say no names, that went through that, man. And with that contract, after a couple of albums, meaning that they got jerked, especially when the contract was over, they was like, thank God this is over with.
Exactly.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because there's so much money they lost behind that. Just sign the wrong contract.
Sign the wrong contract. I've
seen it so many times with a lot of clients of mine who have got into deals, and then they come to me afterward, after they signed something, and then we got to work to try to get them out of that. We do that at all point, but we really want to try to help you up front. You know what I mean? Because so many times, people are so concerned about cutting corners, and trying to save a dollar, that you can really mess up your future. Because it's music business for a reason. These people are in business. They know how this business works a lot better than you, and so definitely go in there with somebody that can help you out. And can look over your paperwork for you.
And just giving an insight of what he just stated. Now you got half the hip hop artists in terms of, because the records are not selling now because everybody's downloading and not even buying music. Not to cut the labels from selling.
And you're so true about that. You're so true.
Let's get to that point. The next thing is that you see all the artists, a lot of known artists. I don't have to say names I'm talking about from Rihanna to Chris Brown to we could go to T.I. to Ludacris. If you look at each one of those artists, what are they doing now? They're doing movies. Right? And let me tell you why.
More money off of one movie they probably made in their whole career in music.
Because a soundtrack towards that label and being and being a part of the movie, you're gonna make more, and in terms of you're establishing yourself now, because now I'm not, you know what? Even though it's as big as I am, that I got old fans still buying my stuff, let me get into a movie type factor and put a soundtrack at, because you're at an aspect now that
much more money with that.
It's much more money with that.
Of course.
And this is what you have young artists that wants to go that route. And not saying that they can't. There's a stepping stone in everything that you do. We all know this.
Understand something with the movie, right? You busting your butt to sell units, right? The music, right? You might, in a couple of years, if you be lucky if you see anything close to me, whether you do a movie, you do a soundtrack, say that movie hits the box office, and that whole week it just went crazy.
It went crazy.
And they made like $55 million off their movie. So you know what you gonna make by the time a month is up.
Absolutely.
Forget about it.
Absolutely. But on top of that, more. Let me just and you're 100% right about that. What happens is also the royalties of a movie to a soundtrack of you being in that. When they replay that, the money that you're getting back, the differential is crazy.
Oh yeah.
People's not thinking about the after effects.
The long money.
The long money.
That's where it comes from. The long money.
We're trying to get it. What I want to do now, and I want to bring the youth back to in terms of their questions,
right.
on what they're missing, what they're not understanding, because
this is what separates the men from the boys in the industry, man.
No question about it.
Because the best learners are listening. So I give a lot of young artists that's all doing their thing. Somewhere along the line, they had to listen.
Got to. They have to do that. And then within radio, in terms of yourself, and I give you a lot of props, man. And I appreciate you bringing me and Peter back.
Oh yeah, I appreciate you guys.
We've been. Me and Peter's been sitting down. I go through different states, and I do music and I do shows with different artists, upcoming artists that has tried. But what their number one. Sonny, how can I get to where the next? I said, it's no problem in getting there. It's the amount of work that you want to put out. It's it's also the constitution towards yourself and learning the business. This is where. Don't look for the fast buck, because what you want to do is look for the long run and be smart where you don't. I'm just going to give you a perfect example, and I'm not down the brother because I met the brother one day. Wesley Snipes, just #1. Did movies.
Sure. He grew up uptown Bronx. Actually, my daughter, her godmother Monica, was his first girlfriend in high school.
I met this brother on
Monica Lake. Yeah, that's my daughter's godmother.
I'm gonna make you laugh.
I know him from he's be uptown. He's played pool in I'm originally from uptown Bronx. I grew up uptown Bronx. When I first met you, I think I just moved to Mount Vernon like a year before in '78. I moved from uptown and I used to go to the pool hall and gun hall. Wesley used to come up there and play pool.
I met.
When I was in high school. I mean, he's around my age. So
I met Wesley.
Yeah, he's a teenager.
I met Wesley in the Village. You know what I was? I worked for Davis and Brody and the Architects.
Okay.
I'm not trying to blow them because this is the company that I worked for. I was a plan desk director, and what I used to do, in terms of their plans and direction towards whatever affiliation they did in terms of building aspects for the architect firm, I took plans to turn the construction and so forth.
Right.
Mr. Wesley was walking down the street with an olive outfit on. So I saw him coming. I said, Mr. Snipes, it's very nice to meet you. I said, I've seen quite a music. He shook me. I said, I have to shake $1 million hand because you know what? Just knowing. And when I said it to him, he chuckled because he looked at me and said, what? I said, normally somebody in the business like yourself walking down the street who could be in a limousine. He was walking in the Village down the street, walking right towards me, and I was walking
down to the brother, man.
Right. And I looked at him and I said, and he turned around, and when I stopped him, the average brother is not going to stop. But Wesley wasn't. It was no fear inside.
It pays to be that way. Let me tell you the reason why. Because see, when your head gets too big and there's no room for nothing else, you're done. There's no room for growth. That's why it's always good just to chill. Yeah.
Another brother.
And respect your fans.
fans.
There's nothing wrong with signing autographs, shaking hands, giving hugs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because these are people that make you. These people are going to support you.
So
when you turn your back on them, who you going to have left?
Right. Absolutely. She's getting ready. In terms of the radio, we're about to
start. Peter, thanks for coming through. Appreciate it. And we'll be looking for you when you come to New York. We definitely want to have you on the show, Peter.
No doubt, I appreciate it, man.
Peter, thanks so much, man. And let me tell you, Mobangem himself, in terms of the radio station, this is our team. We're gonna come on MNN Studios. Everybody remember that? It's a TV show. TV.
All right, listen. Right. I gotta shut it down right now because we short on time. I gotta shut it down. But listen, this is Topics with Mobangem, okay? And that was Peter Spare, attorney, and this is Sonny Warren.
Right.
And we will be back soon, another day, another time. But until then, everybody enjoy your night.
All right. Good night, MNN.